Here we go. Hey, everybody. It's Erica. I'm here live with you guys today, and I hope, please put a comment in the chat box if you're here so that I know you're here with me. I'm testing out VLive TV. I have a question. I'm going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, people who have a canine business, people who want to start up a canine business. And I had a question sent to me today. What do you do? You've just got so many things to do. It's hard to stay focused. Where do you put your time? Where do you put your energy to be the most efficient and the most effective as possible? That's I kind of paraphrased there. Concetta's here with me today, and that was a paraphrase of a question that Concetta sent with me. But my name is Erica Bowling. I am the owner of Northeast Canine Conditioning, and if you have not liked this page, go ahead and do that right now, because this is the first of a series of live broadcasts I'll be doing. I'm going to try to do them on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. And we're going to be talking about different topics related to starting up a business, expanding your canine business, and these topics apply not just to canine professionals, but anybody that has a passion for something that they're wanting to bring it out and share it with others. So one of the key things that I do is I help people take their sport and working dogs, turning them into canine athletes. And in addition to that, with Northeast Canine Conditioning, I help people take their passions, their hobbies, and the things that they love, and how to turn them into profitable programs. So here we have Concetta with us today, and Concetta, we have multiple connections, don't we, Concetta? From you're a doctoral student, you helped me with the research, you also helped me with some of the behind-the-scenes things with my business and my online courses. And Concetta also has an interest. She wants to start up her own business. So thank you for coming here, Concetta. And do you want to kind of tell us, do you want to add any more to that question that you had that I tried to word it. I didn't have your exact question in front of me, but
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit of, as kind of like starting out in that overwhelm, what's one of the main concerns that you had?
Sure. So as a new entrepreneur, I'm looking to start a coding business and web development. And I often find myself wanting and trying to engage my audience. So I feel that I spend a lot of my time bike shedding and I want to use my time more effectively to build my audience and engage my audience. So I wanted to know what should I focus on first as a young new entrepreneur without any experience?
Yeah, that's a question that not even just the young, it's also could be the old entrepreneurs, and also experienced people. I mean, I talk to people that have been doing this for years, and they've got their third, fourth, fifth company startup that they have, and it's a challenge because there's so many moving parts, right? Whether there's a product you're creating, a course you're designing, you need to find an audience, build an audience. There's the sales, there's the marketing, getting the word out, getting visibility so people recognize you as an expert. So there's so many moving pieces that when you start out, or if you've been doing it for a while and you're not a huge business, you'll start out, pretty much everybody I know who's just starting out, they do it all themselves. You're doing all those multiple pieces, right? Mm-hmm. And then, eventually as you grow, you're getting money, then you might have, hire somebody who's an expert in marketing, hire somebody to help with the technology, hire somebody with the content development. But it's very common when people are starting out, or even if it's small business owners, that you are having to juggle everything, all these pieces. And so it can be very overwhelming, and it gets very challenging as far as where to direct your energy, right? Where to put the energy. And so as I was going to the gym today, I was thinking about, what do I, we could spend I can do an entire online course just on this topic. But I did have a couple things that I think would be good things for you to think about, and for other people. And I know this is something that a lot of people are facing. I have business owners who are students in my programs, and I hear this all the time. There's just, only so many hours in the day and so many things to do, and the overwhelming feeling like there's no time for us to be wasting time, right? So where do you start? I would say one of the first things to start with is to be very clear on your vision, your vision for your business, your vision for yourself. Why are you doing this? where do you want to go? What, kind of looking at, maybe the 5 year, the 10 year, where do you see your business down the road? What is it that's driving you to either start it up, or maybe you're expanding into a new area in a business that you have? And this is so important. And I wrote about it. Some of you might have gotten my email about it. But this vision and having this clarity of what you're doing and why, it's going to give you the drive, the motivation. It's going to give you the kick in the butt on those days when you're like, I think I'm going to go and, browse around and, do some searches on Facebook and the internet and Google and not do what needs to be done, right? Because sometimes there's just things that we need to do that, we don't enjoy doing, but we have to. So number one is to have a really, clear vision, and also know what it is that's driving you. Is it to have a certain type of lifestyle, to live a certain way? And having that purpose is going to help give you more focus and more direction. So you don't have to go into detail, but we haven't talked about this, but do you feel like you have a pretty clear vision in your mind? And do you know exactly what it is and what's driving you to do this? Concetta?
Yes, I have a very clear vision. I even started drafting it out. So I had a vision, and then I actually wanted to put it down on paper. So I started a Google Doc, and I found a business model plan online just to see the structure of how to write an actual business plan. And I did proceed to go and actually write it out.
Yeah. So those are things that I like to start with. So when somebody first comes working with me, or if I'm coaching them, is to think about, what is it you're wanting to achieve? How clear are you? Because a lot of people come in, they're like, well, I kind of wanted to do this. Or here's another thing. In addition, you have to have that vision, you have to have that passion. But what I find, a lot of people, they're trying to do too much. They're trying to serve everybody and answer everybody's problems, and their audience, they have a very, very broad audience. And it's, I also talk to some people like, well, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. So I would say number one would be, clarifying, being clear on that passion, writing down what's driving you. What is that kind of end goal? What is it that you want to achieve? And it might change along the way, and that's okay, but have it written down. And then you have to take a really, really close look at, what's the audience? Who is it that you're trying to reach? Are you trying, I might have a 5-year plan, and I might be trying to reach a bunch of different groups, and that's fine. But ultimately I have to narrow it down. I have to decide, well, okay, that's my big plan. But right now, this is, a very specific, a very precise focus that you have right now. So most people I talk to, especially when they're starting out, they need to get more clarity and get more laser focused. So they have a clear idea, but it's this very big, grandiose idea that just trying to do too much, at one time is going to be very challenging. The other thing that I find really helpful, and I bring this over from education, is the concept of backward design. So, for example, you might want to think about, okay, in 6 months, this is what I want to achieve, right? And you kind of have that vision. I want to have a weekly Facebook Live show. I want to have an ebook, whatever it is, okay? So sit down with your calendar, and you want to map out, say, at 6 months out, this is what I want to do. And then kind of break it down. I like to do an annual plan for the year and break it down quarterly. And like right now, I have my goals and what I want to achieve for the quarter out of the year. And then I break it down by month. And so what happens is that I'm going to follow that whenever I'm going along. And about once a week, I revisit it to kind of double check and see, am I on track? So another mistake people do is they just kind of go day by day. And when you're trying to do something big and achieve something great, usually there's various steps that have to be put in place, and you have to plan backwards. Look at the end goal, plan backwards, so you can get all those steps done in the timely fashion. So if you're just looking at day by day or week by week, you're not going to accomplish as much. And some of the goals you have, you might not even be able to reach because you're not doing that backward design. So I would encourage you, have you done any of that, kind of writing down, specific tasks and breaking them down like in a timeline?
No, I haven't made a very specific timeline, but it's ironic because as a doctoral student, that's how I usually function. Like just to get everything done, I make a timeline, I stick to that timeline. But I didn't do that for the business, but I definitely will take that advice.
Yep. So if you're really clear on what you want to achieve, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, whatever that plan is, I would encourage you to do, you're very focused and you have very clear things usually, just, I know from working with you, I would encourage you to kind of have a rough idea, kind of what is that, year plan. And it could be, what do you want to create and have accomplished, but also it could be, kind of, financially where you want to be, knowledge-wise, where do you want to be, stuff like that. And then break it down so that when you sit down for the day and you're trying to figure out what do I need to do today, it's situated within something that it falls under what you're doing for the month. Does that make sense? Kind of that backward
Yes.
design.
Yes.
So that's one thing that helps keep me on task, because if I don't have a very clear, kind of the to-do list and I know what I'm doing and why, what it's leading up to, it's easy for me to just kind of twiddle away the time and, browse around, spend too much time on Facebook and stuff like that. So I have my yearly plan, I have my quarterly plan, and then I also have it broken down monthly, and I have it on a document right on my computer, right on the desktop. So I can quickly and easily access it and quickly jump there. And I revisit it, at least once a week, even daily, revisiting it. And I find that helps keep me on task. And then you'll have to prioritize, right? And see what's the most urgent. What do I need to do first, second, and third? We're not going to go into all of that right now. But if you have those bigger goals, those bigger tasks that you want to achieve, say for the month, that's going to help you prioritize what needs to be done first, what needs to be done second and third. So I find that really helps keep me focused. And this is a tip. I can't remember. I got this from somebody, but I can't remember who gave me the tip. But how we always have things that, you always have something on your to-do list and you're always like resisting it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
Your least favorite thing to do. Maybe it's something you're not as confident in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So usually there's a reason why you keep resisting it, why you keep putting it off. And some days I'm just like, you know what, darn it, I'm going to start my day and I'm going to hit all those resistant things I resist. Those are going to be the first things I hammer out, because I know I waste a lot of time putting it off, when I just need to jump in, do it, and get it done. So I find that if you find something that's been hanging over your head, or a couple things, and you recognize that for whatever reason, you keep resisting doing it, I find that just, sitting down and saying, I'm doing it, I'm getting it done, then that's, that gets me moving. And mentally acknowledging and being aware that you're resisting it. For me, one of them is trimming my dog's toenails. We don't enjoy it. And actually, I have to do it tonight, and I should have done it 3 days ago. And I'm going to be doing it at 1:00 in the morning. But I would be, instead of delaying it and putting it off throughout the night, well, let me watch this show and let me go eat some popcorn. If I had just started out this morning and said, what are you resisting today? Doing their toenails. If I had gone and done it first thing in the morning, got it over with, I wouldn't be pushing and doing all this stuff to fill my time. Right? So that's just a life thing, for a business. But, and it's also sometimes like I might say, I'm being resistant and, doing some aspect with the training, or I need to do some kind of stretching, or I'm not a morning person. I don't like, going out in the mornings and doing a run. So sometimes just when you're really aware that you're resisting, is to get that out, do it first and get it done. And then the other thing on my list, like I said, I'm writing, it's the list I made when I got home from the gym. But the other thing is that helps in staying focused and getting things done and not wasting time is taking mental and physical breaks. So I find that when I start, I'm doing a lot of work, I'm focusing on one thing too long, that I have to, if I step away and get a mental break and get a physical break, I come back and I'm going to be more effective. I'm going to be more efficient. I'm going to work more productively. I'm going to be more mentally engaged. I'm going to be just there. And even like in dog training, it's, you know, we know it in dog training when we start getting, whether it's, you know, you don't want to train and get, you know, emotions or anger, or if you're having frustration and whatever those emotions are, you want to step away and then come back. And that stepping away mentally and physically, I find when I come back, I'm more productive and I'm more focused in getting those things done. So I would think probably some of your things that you're doing, wasting, you know, you say kind of, you're doing stuff you enjoy, but you know, it's not, you know, like, you know, right now, some of the stuff that you're spending time on is not the best use of your time for your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that. So
Yep.
I would say, you know, one of the things would be is kind of identify, are you doing those behaviors because you're resisting something, because there's something hanging over your head, you know, you need to do, but you're kind of like, you know, I just don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do it later. Let me do this now. It might be that you need to step away, do my stuff that distracts me for the next 30 minutes. And then when I come back, I'm going to get focused. Right. But those things, like I said, those are the things that help me, having that clear vision, writing it down, revisiting it, and putting things down in a plan, a quarterly and annual plan. And even, you know, when it comes to numbers, sometimes when I think something's totally impossible for me to do, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could never, you know, how am I going to make that much money to do blah, blah, blah. When I sit down and I say, well, if I need this much money, you know, and I need it for my business and I want to, you know, get some equipment for my dog or whatever it is, if I sit down and think strategically, how much do I need? How many, you know, where am I going to get it? How many people do I need to teach to get it? And make it concrete. It makes it, to me, it makes it much more doable and more actionable for me to take action on it. So, so was that helpful for some of the?
Very helpful. Yes.
And
definitely going to look into the backwards design model a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I use that that backwards design model. I use it for everything. I mean, I use it. One of the things for backwards design, and I'm just if people are in the Facebook page, I'm just going to throw in. I do have a handout that I can share, but one thing with the backwards design model, I also talk about this when I talk about canine fitness and keeping our dogs fit. And this could also be for like human fitness. So for example, if I know that I want to, I see some of the audio's cutting in and out. My mom's posting, "Hi, Mom." I'm putting a handout in there for people who haven't downloaded. It's some 10 tips for passion to profit. But those are some things that I learned along the way. If you haven't downloaded it, it's in there. But what I want to make a quick connection back to, let me go back here. I wanted to make a quick connection to canine fitness. So for example, if I know that I want my dog to be able to run 5 miles, right now, let's say he's not even doing half a mile. I want to say, okay, I want to do, in 6 months, I want my dog to do 5 to 8 miles. And then I have to kind of map backwards. Well, if we want to do 5 to 8 miles in a few months, I'm going to break it down and set goals for each month along the way, and then break it into smaller increments. So then that's going to be what I'm aiming for each week as I'm working my dog, and in a very systematic way, in a very structured and planned way, I'm then building my program up. And we do this in marathon training. So whenever, if you want to run a marathon, you need to be very strategic about how many miles are you going to run, when, and which week. And you have to map it backwards, so that you can time it just right, so that you can reach the miles that you need right before the marathon. So we use it for, like I said, I use it for lesson plans. I use it for canine fitness and conditioning. I use it for my own business plans and goals, this concept of this backwards design. So, let me jump in. So we do have, I'll have to figure out, I hope the audio is coming through. I did have one or two people mentioned that it's going in and out, but I hope that was helpful. And what I'm going to be doing is, if people have other questions they want to post, like the page, because you'll get announcements whenever we have any kind of live shows or new information to share. So make sure you like the page. And also, if you're watching the replay, you can still post comments and questions, because I'm going to be going back and I'll be answering questions if you have any question about what we just talked about. And also, if you currently have a business, or if you have, if it's a canine specific business, or if it's something that you're wanting to do, I'd love to know like what kind of business and kind of where you are in that. So if you can post in the comments, that would be awesome. And feel free to share this. So is that good, Concetta? I didn't know if, I hope that gave you some tips. I mean, I can't.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't have your whole plan in front of me, or I can't say, well, do this today and do that. But hopefully it gave you a little bit more focus on how to start to structure it. But I think a lot of times understanding, a lot of times we're wasting time and we're not being efficient, and we know it. It's, we kind of know what we need to be doing. So thinking about, why am I putting off what I know needs to be done? So
I mean, I'm just beginning, so I'm only like 60 days in. So I'm really a novice 60 days in. Yes.
You've been thinking about this for a long time. So I would say, when you think about conceptualizing something, whether it's, it could be, I know a lot of people, they have like a canine business and they've been doing dog training, but they're thinking about adding a whole new different type of program that they're offering. So, there's a lot of,
and it took me so long just to choose a name, just to choose and settle on a business name. Yes. It took me over a month.
It's important. It's hard. I know that. I just read today, they're saying they thought it was one of the hardest things, is coming up with that business name, because it's the branding and everything. So, all right. So I
look forward to more.
All right. So again, thank you if you were here for joining us. Leave a comment, please, so I know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, post questions. There's a handout I put down there on some 10 tips that I learned becoming a successful entrepreneur, and keep an eye out for future postings. If you like the Northeast Canine Conditioning page, whenever we have more live shows and do some Q&As, you should be getting a Facebook alert announcement saying that we're going live. So thank you, Concetta. Thank you for posing a question. You sent me a whole bunch of questions, but we don't have time to go over all of them tonight. But next Friday, I'm going to plan on being here. We'll aim for the same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great weekend, and I will see everybody soon. Thank you again, Concetta.
Bye-bye.
Bye.